The muscles of exercise 13 are divided into different sections. So this section is going to be looking at the arm muscles. And to start with, first, kind of a brief introduction. Remember, muscles, the whole point of them is to allow movement, flexibility when they contract. Uh, with the muscles, you have what we call points of origin and points of insertion. The point of origin is the one that remains fixed or stationary, and insertion will move. Now, when you're talking about the arms and the legs, so the extremities, the origin is usually going to be proximal to the insertion. You will need to be familiar with the points of origin, points of insertion, and the type of movement for the various muscles. I recommend that instead of getting overwhelmed and learning everything at once, learn where the muscles are first. So learn the names of the muscle and their location. Everything else kind of flows into place. If you know where the muscle is, it's fairly easy to determine what its points of attachments are. Once you know where it's attached, think about, okay, when this muscle contracts, what type of movement would I get from it? And so that's what I'm saying. If you learn the location of the muscle first, everything else is going to kind of fall into place. With muscles, we often will classify them according to the type of action in terms of are they an agonist or prime mover versus an antagonist. In other words, when you have one muscle contracting, a muscle opposite it has got to relax to help um, make that smooth movement. You're thinking, well, if one's contracting, one's relaxing, that's opposing it. Yes, it is. But they both think of, say, your humerus bone. You cannot have muscles all around them contracting at the same time. In order for one muscle to contract, such as, say, the biceps brachia, the triceps needs to relax and to allow for that smooth movement. So we refer to one as the prime mover or the agonist, and the other one is going to be the antagonist because it's opposing that movement. In reality, it's helping to make that movement smoother. Now, sometimes you have muscles that are going to be working together as groups, and we refer to these as synergists and fixators. They're helping to stabilize um, the joint, stabilize where the muscle is originating from so that that prime mover can move much more efficiently. So now we're going to look at the actual muscles of the arm. We're going to start with the upper arm. The triceps brachia. Triceps tells you that there's 3 heads, as you can see pointed out in this diagram. It's going to be involved with extension of the elbow. The biceps brachia, now it has 2 heads to it as shown by the arrows, and it allows for flexion of the elbow. Flexion of the shoulder, it's kind of a weak thing. It also, as you can see, allows for supination with the palm, so you can have several different types of movements from one muscle. The brachialis is involved with flexion of the elbow. The brachius is also with flexion of the elbow. Sorry, I reversed this too. So it's not just one muscle that's going to contract typically for certain movements. Pronator teres for pronation, as the name implies. Flexor carpi radialis. Now, you'll start to say, well, a lot of these muscles are really close to each other and are hard to distinguish. If I were you, I'd pick one, know the location of that, so have your primary landmark, if you will, and then start to, okay, one muscle away to the right, second muscle to the right, third muscle to the right, etc. So kind of pick your landmark and then move from there, right and left, and that will help you. Palmaris longus, so a weak wrist flexor. The flexor carpi ulnaris. Flexor digitorum superficialis. Now, this would tell you that it's going to be more superficial rather than a deep muscle. Flexor pollicis longus. Pollicis is what we call the thumb, so that's going to give you a little bit of a clue to where it's at. Flexor digitorum profundus. It's a deeper muscle. Pronator quadris. Extensor carpi radialis longus. Yes, I know some of these names are long, as in the name. Extensor carpi radialis brevis. The extensor digitorum. Extensor carpi ulnaris. The supinator. And the name of the muscle is often telling you what type of movement that you would get. So in this case, that would be really helpful. The abductor pilaris longus, once again, the name of the muscle abductor tells you that it abducts and it extends the thumb. Extensor pilaris brevis, extensor pilaris longus,